Hello agents, and welcome to another daily episode of Target Loot Today, your daily farming guide for Friday, February 19th. In this series, I cover a large scope of useful info like the Target Loot map, Dark Zone exclusives, highlights for the weekly vendor resets including Clancy, and build and farming suggestions as well. This is Shadow Gaming, and if you're new to the channel or enjoy this video, consider rating it with a thumbs up and pressing the subscribe button below, and if not, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. And definitely hit that bell notification to all so you never miss a daily morning video, and comment below if you have any questions, concerns, or feedback whatsoever. Otherwise, let's get this video started. Alright agents, so starting off with the Dark Zones and of course vendor reset highlights. They're going to be in that big bottom left overlay that pops up right now, so I really don't recommend very much. You know, maybe the door kicker is knocking DZ south, but it's kind of rainbow rolled, so it's up to you guys. I don't really have any recommendations this week. Now in DZ West there is hardwired, so you know, you can wait for it to be outside of the Dark Zone, but if you don't want to, you could farm for the 4-piece hardwired build with of course the Vial Mask and then a China Light chest piece with glass cannon or unbreakable, running the jammer pulse or the firefly. That's a pretty cool, you know, build that running Butcher did. Next up in DZ South is Circle of Concern. I don't really even want to go over that. I mean, it's for SMG builds. You guys know what you need to look for. Otherwise in DZ East we have Future Initiative. Now Future Initiative is also worth farming for because it comes with a skill tier. So all you gotta do is reroll one attribute. But remember, Future Initiative, like Foundry Bulwark, it is a, you know, raid exclusive for the chest and backpack to the Iron Horse raid on normal difficulty. So keep that in mind when farming for it, but otherwise just replace that with an Alp Summit chest piece with like Empathetic Resolve on it and a Murakami backpack with like Safeguard on it. That's a great non-raid exclusive healer build. Alright, let's go check out what we got on the north side now, agents, and invaded missions as well. Alright agents, north side and invaded missions. Starting off with the invaded missions this week, we got Air and Space Museum, and then of course Space Administration HQ, Jefferson Plaza, and the strongholds is Capitol Building and Tidal Basin, and the timers for these are going to be on my website shadowgaming.network as well. Up here at Camp White Oak, we got submachine guns as target to loot today. So you got 3 exotics you could farm for. That would be the Lady Death, the Chatterbox, which is a quest only, so you might have to watch my Chatterbox quick 5-minute video on how to get it real quick before you can farm target to loot for it. And then of course the Backfire, which you're gonna need about like 94% bleed protection, like hazard protection, to stop the bleed, or you just skip the reload animation but you lose the stacks. Otherwise, always keep in mind that the Dark Winter and the Apartment are Dark Zone exclusives. They can only drop in the Dark Zone. The only way outside of it is like a named item cache or the named item rewards, like from the projects where they give you named items. And really the only other thing I recommend, you know, up here in the north side is Providence Defense at Manning National Zoo, that you could farm for the Sacrifice or Perfect Glass Cannon. That will amplify, meaning multiplicative damage, amplify all your damage by 30%, but also all incoming damage by 60%. So that's going to make you real squishy, shred like paper, but vice versa to the enemies as well. I prefer Intimidate or Obliterate, but it's up to you guys. And this works really well on like a skill damage build as well as a DPS build as well. And then of course Kinley College is closed and the summer you pick your own target to loot. So let's go check out what we got on the west and east sides now. Alright agents, west side target loot highlights. Starting off with the gear sets, we only got a few. So Foundry Bulwark and Lincoln Memorial, great tank set, but the chest and backpack are Iron Horse raid exclusive, like I mentioned over there on the DZ East side of Future Initiative. So in lieu of that, just run Emperor's Guard knee pads with 1% armor regen, and then Bellstone Armory as you know, 6th piece of your gear, and that's a great tank set that's non-raid exclusive. And then next up we got Hunter's Fury West Atomic Park. I will put my favorite Hunter's Fury build in the top title card and bottom left overlay. That is 4 pieces of Hunter's Fury, the Memento backpack, and Death Grip gloves with 10% armor on kill. And then of course I run the Dark Winter and the Scorpio with Septic Shock on that, 3 blue cores, 4 weapon cores, and then the skill tier from the Memento backpack. For regular target loot, starting off at the bottom with rifles at DARPA Research Labs, you can get the Merciless and the Diamondback, the 2 exotic rifles in this game. The Merciless kicks like a horse, so you need like 3-piece strikers braced on your chest piece or weapon handling all over your gear. And then of course for the Diamondback, it hits really hard in PvE and PvP, but it only has 5 shots in the magazine or clip, so keep that in mind. I definitely recommend for sure farming for the Baker's Dozen with Perfect Lucky Shot, and then also the Surge with Perfect Spike for skill damage builds and the DPS builds respectively. You know, those are 2 named ones that drop in the light zone. And then next up we got Bellstone at the Pentagon. So of course you can farm the everyday carrier perfectly efficient. Comment below if anyone uses this, please. I still have not got a comment. Like, I don't use it myself, so I don't really know. And of course the Liquid Engineer backpack with Perfect Bloodsucker is a Dark Zone exclusive backpack, so you have to wait for Bellstone or backpacks to be targeted loot in the Dark Zones to farm for it. And then next up we got Hana-Yu at Roosevelt Island. You can farm the Force Multiplier backpack with Perfect Combined Arms. That's going to give you 30% skill damage, but only for 3 seconds, and you have to be landing a shot every 3 seconds on an NPC or player to get that. So of course that's definitely worth farming for, and the alternative would be farming Alp Summit for the Percussive Maintenance with Perfect Tech Support, which will give you 30% skill damage for 30 seconds. But you're going to lose that 10% skill haste that you get from the Hana-Yu one-piece brand set, or if you're running 2-piece Hana-Yu, you know, the skill damage. Otherwise, you know, I recommend the Force Multiplier. And then we got Petra at the Constitutional Hall. You can farm the Contractor's Gloves with 8% damage to armor, so that's great on any LMG build, or if you're just stacking damage to armor, you know, like Walker Harrison Co., the Lady Death, or Assault Rifles. You know, you can do like a damage to armor build. And then next up we got MMRs over here at the White House. So of course there's 2 exotic MMRs in this game. The Mantis you could just straight up farm for, and the Nemesis, there's a step-by-step guide on my website that you could check out, you know, because it's a quest only exotic, so I definitely recommend checking that out in the pinned comment below. And then of course the recommended MMRs for the named ones in the light zones would be Ekim's Longstick with Perfect Ranger, and then of course the White Death, which, you know, you could roll whatever you need on it: Boomerang, Rifleman, Ranger. And then next up we got shotguns at Downtown West. So you got 2 exotics here, right? You got the Scorpio with Septic Shock, which is definitely worth it on any build. And then you got the Sweet Dreams of the Sandman talent, which is really only useful on skill builds or maybe tank builds. Now with the Sandman talent, you can melee one-hit kill any, you know, red or purple barred enemy every 15 seconds. But Scorpio, you know, you can just absolutely stun lock enemies on any build. So I highly recommend getting the Scorpio. It's rewarded at Season 4 level 55, I believe. And yeah, that's about it for the exotic shotguns. Now the 4 best shotguns aside from the 2 exotics would be the, you know, Rock and Roll Shotgun with Perfectly Extra, although it's a DZ exclusive, and the Mop with 10% armor on kill. And then of course the custom M8 70 and the Marine Super 90, and always real close and personal on those, that's for sure. And that's all I recommend for the west side besides Douglas and Harding at West End. If you want to farm the Punch Drunk with 20% headshot damage baked into it, that's great for an all high-end headshot damage build. So now let's go check out what we got over there on the east side now, agents. Alright, agents, east side target loot highlights, starting off with the gear sets. Let's go with True Patriot at Grand Washington Hotel and work our way to the bottom. So True Patriot's a great build, you know, for ARs, SMGs as well. I'll put my True Patriot SMG build in the top right as well as the bottom overlay. And that of course is 4-piece True Patriot, the Memento backpack, a Sokolov chest with Intimidate, and I always run the Lady Death and the Mop with 10% armor on kill. Next up we got Negotiator's Dilemma, District Union Arena. If I have enough cards, I'll put my double LMG build up there in the top right, but it's 4-piece Negotiator's Dilemma, the Coyote's Mask, and then I run Grupo Sombro gloves or the Contractor's gloves for Pestilence or Bullet King. And then you could also run like an AR or SMG if you run the Grupo Sombro gloves. And then next up we got Strikers at Federal Triangle. You guys know I only recommend running 3 pieces for rate of fire and weapon handling. You know, any more than that is completely useless to me. Never run any more than 3 pieces of Striker in my opinion. And then the last 2, you know, I just don't have any build recommendations, but Tip of the Spear Viewpoint Museum, you know, I just recommend using the Survivalist specialization for the crossbow to instantly strip off armor and like legendary missions and, you know, niche stuff like raids and legendaries. And then of course for Rigger at Jefferson Plaza, I definitely recommend it. I still don't have a build out yet for it, but 4 pieces is worth it. Same with the chest piece, which increases the damage buff a lot, but the skill damage you get. And it instantly resets, you know, your cooldowns and gives you skill damage on top of that. So it's definitely worth it. Even changing targets instead of destroying or canceling your skill gives it to you. For normal targeted loot, we've got Grupo Sombro back today at Capitol Building for you guys that need Grupo Sombro. You know, for 1 piece for DPS builds for that 15% crit hit damage. And then 2 pieces for explosive skill damage builds because you get 15% explosives damage for like an artillery turret and seeker mine build. And then next up we got Gold on Gear as Space Admin, so you can farm the Anarchist Cookbook with Perfect Wicked. That gives you 18% weapon damage for 27 seconds upon applying a status effect, which is perfect. You're going to need that for that 4-piece ongoing directed bleed damage build with Ridgeway's Pride. And then we got light machine guns at Air Space Museum. You got the 2 exotics, the Bullet King and the Pestilence. The Bullet King is really good, you know, you never have to reload it. It does not have infinite ammo though. And the Pestilence is really good as well. It has a 6-second reload, which you could reduce to about 2 or 2.5 with like brace on your chest piece or weapon handling all over the place. But you can get that damage ticked over 1,000,000 per tick, and it's based off weapon damage, not status effects. So that's an all red DPS build that's doing 1,000,000 per damage tick. And then in the bottom left overlay, there's a bunch of named LMGs. You know, the Black Friday with Perfect Unhinged is a Darkstone exclusive. The rest are not. You can farm for them. And then next up we got Empress at American History Museum. I'll put my favorite turret drone build in the top right and bottom left overlay. That is 3-piece Empress, 2-piece Hanayu in the waveform holster, running kinetic momentum on the chest piece and the force multiplier backpack. And then I always run the capacitor and the Harmony with Perfect in Sync as my secondary. Now of course Empress does come with 2 named items and they're not Darkstone exclusives. That's the Caesar's Guard chest piece with Perfectly Skilled and the battery pack with Perfectly Calculated. Both of those are great for like quick skill cooldown builds. And then we got chest pieces at East Mall. So this is an area where you could farm the tardigrade. That is a really good exotic chest piece. The Ridgeway's Pride is a, you know, project that you get from the summit that you have to complete first. So of course you can't farm for that yet if you haven't completed the project. Otherwise, always let your teammates know what you are farming for and vice versa, so they can share that with you if they, you know, it happens to drop and they want to share it with you. Most of the time, usually they do. You know, people are pretty friendly if you just let them know what you want to farm for, what you need, and you know what they need as well, so you guys can help each other out if you're, you know, matchmaking or something. And then we got assault rifles over here at Jefferson Trade Center. So of course the Eagle Bearer is locked behind the Dark Hours raid still, but you got 2 exotics, right? The Chameleon with Adaptive Instincts, and then you got the Capacitor with Capacitance. Now the Capacitor, you need to complete 5 summit challenges on any difficulty to get. And then the Chameleon, you just don't have to do anything except for farm assault rifle targeted loot. And especially if assault rifles are in an open area, you know, and you run bounties, that's probably the best way to do it, but it'll still drop if you just farm AR targeted loot at Jefferson Trade Center today eventually if your RNG is on your side. And then the bottom left overlay, like LMGs, there's a bunch of named ARs that are worth farming for. You know, I definitely recommend the Test Subject, the Mechanical Animal, and the Burnout. And really the last thing I can recommend is knee pads at Downtown East. So of course you got 2 exotics, the Sawyers and the Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads. Ninja Bike is like, you know, they're totally opposites, right? So the Ninja Bike is for running gun builds where you're vaulting or cover to cover for 25% bonus armor and instantly reloading your weapon. And then for Sawyers, you just sit still for, you know, every second. You get 1% weapon damage up to 30% weapon damage. And then as soon as you even flinch, it starts dropping down by 1% weapon damage all the way to 0. And then you could also farm for the Fox's pair of knee pads with 8% damage targets out of cover, which is multiplicative damage, the best type of damage in this game. And I always recommend having a pair of those. I would farm Overlord for that for sure if it was available, but I do not think it is. Otherwise, let's go check out New York City now. Alright, agents, New York City target loot highlights. Starting off with the gear sets, we got aces and 8s at Liberty Island. So of course 3-piece aces and 8s, 2-piece Arelda Holding with a backpack with Vigilance or Composure, and the Chain Killer chest piece with Perfect Headhunter, which you could farm today at Financial District area. And then of course you want to run that with the Mantis as your primary, and then a secondary, just run Ekim's Long Stick with Perfect Ranger or the White Death. And like I said, farm the Chain Killer chest piece here at Financial District if you're looking for it. It deals 150% of your last killing blow straight to the head. I usually get about 20 million a headshot with the Mantis. And then we got gloves over here at Wall Street. You could farm for the BTSU Data Gloves, which grants overcharge to you or any ally that's at skill tier 6. And you can also farm the Contractor's Gloves here as well. And then we got holsters over here at Battery Park. So of course you got 3 exotic holsters, the Waveform, which you unlock in Season 4 level 90, and then you got the Dodge City and the Imperial Dynasty holsters. The waveform is great for just pure skill damage, alternating between left and right skills like the turret and drone build, or the Dodge City is great for pistol builds and headshot damage builds, and the Imperial Dynasty is amazing for that Eclipse Protocol fire damage status effect build. You could also farm for the 4s, that is a named holster in the light zone that gives you 50% shield health, equivalent to a whole extra skill tier worth of shield health if you want to. And then we got Eclipse Protocol Pathway Park, so at Pathway Park we got Eclipse Protocol, so I'll have that fire damage build in the top title card and bottom left overlay. And that of course is 4 pieces of Eclipse Protocol, and then you got the Imperial Dynasty holster and 1 piece of Golan gear for an extra 10% status effects. And I always run the Chem Launcher Fire Starter and the Stinger Hive with that, and then the Pyromaniac named Assault Rifle Perfectly Ignited, and then you could also run the Capacitor as well, or the Harmony. And then we got Ongoing Directive over here at the Tomb, so I got 2 bleed damage builds for you guys as always. The first one was that Ridgeway's Pride one that I was talking about with 4-piece Ongoing Directive and the Anarchist Cookbook with Perfect Wicked. And then of course the second one, and before I let you know the second one, remember Carnage with Perfect Sadist and the Scorpio Exotic Shotgun. Those are the 2 weapons you want for both of these builds. And then of course the second one is 4-piece Ongoing Directive, a Badger Tough backpack with the Creeping Death talent and the Vile Mask. Both of those are really good DPS bleed damage builds. And then we got backpacks at Civic Center, so anyone out there, starving for that Memento backpack with Kill Confirm that missed it during Season 3, I feel you, man. It sucks, the Memento was really easy to get during Season 3, but now all you gotta do is just farm backpack targeted loot, and you can also get the Acosta's Go Back with 1 in the hand. Those are the 2 exotic backpacks in this game. And the last couple we got is Alp Summit, a Stranded Tanker. I already mentioned this. You can farm the Percussive Maintenance with Perfect Tech Support. That gives you 30% skill damage for 30 seconds, but you get 20% repair skills for running 1 piece of Alp Summit. So you might want to go with just regular tech support. And then lastly, Badger Tough at 2 Bridges. You can farm the 0F's chest piece of Perfect Unbreakable. Great for DPS hybrid builds. It restores 100% of your armor once it breaks, and the cooldown is only 55 seconds. Alright agents, well that was your daily farming guide for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider pressing those subscribe, like, and share buttons below, and if not, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. And always remember to check the video description and pinned comment below. I got my shadowgaming.network website that has so much useful info, basically everything you need to know about the game, and I'm still working on it every day, as well as my Shadow Gaming merchandise store and Discord and Shadow Crew Clan on all platforms, and all sorts of ways including the merchandise store to support me and help me and my family in this channel. And then of course, if you want to become a member, you could just click the join button below. That's a big gigantic help as well, and thank you and shout out to all 5 of my channel members. You guys are saints. Take care agents, and be sure to stay tuned for more daily Division 2 content. This is Agent Shadow signing off. I will see you in the next video. Take care agents, and have a lovely Friday and weekend, and I will see you tomorrow.